Hello, and thank you so much for joining us this evening for St. Croix Festival Theatre's first ever 1-minute play festival. My name is Brooke Smith, and I'm the Arts Education Director at Festival Theatre. We were so lucky to have 20 new works submitted from playwrights from across the country, New York to Los Angeles, and everywhere in between. Tonight, you will see readings of these 20 plays done by some of our favorite festival theater actors who have so generously donated their time to bring these new works to life. Festival Theatre operates as a 501c3 nonprofit organization. This means that we subsist largely on donations from our patrons and viewers. Right now, when we are not able to meet together in person, your donations are more important than ever. If you are able, we would so appreciate your monetary support. You can visit us at festivaltheatre.org/donate to find out more or to set up a donation. We open tonight's readings with an excerpt from a piece by Angie Lundeen titled Up the Stream with a Paddle. It details her family's relationship to the St. Croix River and how it has shaped her life. We will then go on a journey down the St. Croix River itself, exploring relationships, age, memory, and going on a family trip and a nighttime car ride. We'll end our evening where we began, with the second excerpt from Up the Stream with a Paddle, bringing our night together to its conclusion. Thank you so much for joining us for our first ever 1-minute play festival. We so appreciate your support and feel very lucky and privileged to be able to continue sharing our art with you.
I have loved the St. Croix River for a very long time, before I knew it was the border between Minnesota and Wisconsin.
Before I had ever heard of voyageurs, before I knew I would live just 3 miles from its shore, before I knew how to swim.
For learning to love this river, I have to say, thank you, Dad. My father was a Boy Scout from the age of 12 until his death at age 88. He became a Scout Master when he was a young man, and he took his troop camping on the St. Croix.
My mother used to say that some of her frying pans were on the river bottom, lost during water fights between canoes. After World War II, the river called to Dad again.
Now he had a daughter, a son, and a dog besides a wife. You know how they say you should practice camping in your backyard before you go on your first big camping trip?
My father's version of that sent we two kids to our grandparents for the weekend.
We didn't have a clue about what Dad had planned, or the years of memories ahead of us.
Treasure Island by Tracy Ledford.
Characters:
Maddie, a woman, any age or race.
Finn, friend to Maddie, similar in age, any race.
Setting: Folsom Island in the middle of the St. Croix River between Minnesota and Wisconsin. Year: 1952. Time: a summer's night after midnight. At rise: lights up on Maddie and Finn. Finn carries the shovels. Maddie carries a Burton lantern-style flashlight and an old journal.
Well, this is where we dig, Finn.
Are you sure?
This is close. Yeah, I'm sure.
Maddie sets down the journal and the lantern so that it lights their work. She takes a shovel from Finn and digs into the ground.
What if we get caught by the park rangers?
Not a chance.
Finn begins to dig.
Soil is loose.
Mm-hmm.
They dig.
Halvesies, right?
If Father Antoine's treasure is here, have these. Just hurry.
But you said no park rangers. Maddie?
Not park rangers I'm worried about.
Finn stops digging.
What then?
Dig.
Okay.
Rumors. Stories, lore.
About?
Maddie stops to brush a hair away from her face.
The river's original name was Tomb River. River of Graves.
Finn stops.
Are we digging up a person?
No, dig!
They dig.
Why River of Graves?
The Dakota named it that long before the French arrived.
Because?
Their shovels hit against something that sounds like wood or metal.
Finn, stop!
Maddie crouches down in the dirt to feel for the object. She reaches into the shallow hole. We hear and see her struggle to pull something large or heavy up. After a few seconds, in quick succession, the snap of a large twig is heard. Finn spins to see where the snap came from. Maddie gasps at something, pulls her partially down the hole, and the lantern goes out. Blackout. Observation by Henrik C. Stranskov.
Characters.
Trudy, 55.
Bob, 56.
Alice, 54.
Tom, 59.
Boat tour guide, 18. Voice only.
Time, a recent summer. Place, the Taylor's Falls Princess, a tour boat on the St. Croix River just below the head of navigation on the border between Minnesota and Wisconsin. Trudy and Bob, a couple from Fargo, are sitting next to their friends Alice and Tom, a couple from Detroit Lakes.
Now, if you look up and to the left, you will see the shape of a Christian cross on the rock face. The early voyageurs saw that and named the river St. Croix, which means Holy Cross in French.
I didn't know that. Did you, Alice?
Alice is looking at her phone and doesn't answer.
What's she talking about? What damn cross? I don't see.
Oh, it's right there, Bobby. See? See that part that goes up and then that part sort of, no, not over there. Quick, Bobby.
She grabs Bob's head and violently turns it in the right direction.
Look just below that weird pine tree, Bob. See it?
There's about 3 billion pine trees up there. Don't tell me to look for a damn pine tree.
Oh, now it's gone past. Don't worry, Bobby. You can see it when we go to the pothole trail.
Well, yippee, dingbats. Now I've got something to look forward to.
It's not really true, you know.
It looked like a cross to me, Allie.
No, the naming. I just looked it up. It wasn't the Voyagers, and it wasn't because of the rocks. It was because there was a cross by a grave.
Well, who was it then? Who named it?
Some French guy, but he was just an explorer, not a Voyager.
But it did look like a cross on the rock.
I guess. I didn't really see it. Oh, look! They've got a Walmart here, and there's a sale on sandals.
Oh, we can go after the potholes.
Well, yippee, dingbats.
Blackout.
The River is My Teacher by Sherry Pierce.
Characters.
Kayaker.
Number 1.
Number 2.
Number 3.
River.
I headed toward the river. It was a warm, beautiful Tuesday in early summer. I had been introduced to the river by my coworkers. Every year we spent at least one Saturday on the river, laughing, chatting, having lunch on a sandbar. But now I was retired. They were all at work, so I came alone. One last bend in the road and I would be able to see the water. I passed by a small, shady, secluded cemetery.
You don't need to hurry past. We won't bite.
Speak for yourself. I still have my teeth.
Oh, don't pay them any mind. They don't have grand memories to dwell on.
And you do.
I remember the siege of Corinth, the siege of Chattanooga, and the siege of Atlanta. The 2nd Minnesota Volunteer Infantry Regiment did our duty, but when it was over, I was more than ready to come back home.
Life wasn't easy for me either. I buried 3 of my babies here. But Minnesota is home, and now I'm lying beside them.
I remember watching men walk on the moon. I sure thought that was exciting, but I am quite content to remain earthbound.
Like you have any choice now.
We've all experienced the high moments of life.
And the dull day-to-day monotony.
We have earned our quiet rest.
So go on about your business, but respect our quiet.
Respect our quiet.
And respect our peace.
Respect our peace.
I could see the water sparkling ahead. This was the first time I would be solo on the river. I carefully wrapped up my fears and laid them at the foot of a large tree. Then I stepped into my kayak and pushed off from the shadowy bank into the bright light of the current. I'm sure there were other people on the water that day, but I could see and hear no one. I slowly inhaled the tranquility of my solitude. I was glad that my paddles made little noise to disturb the silence.
What's the hurry? You don't have to keep paddling, you know. In my day, I was a hard-working river, carrying forests of white pine your kind had cut down. I carried the logs to the sawmills downriver. If I could carry them, I can carry you.
I laid down my paddle and rested. Between the sun and my exertion, I was warm and tired.
My water is cool and refreshing.
I leaned back and dangled my feet over the sides of the kayak in the silky coolness of the river. I saw eagles circling overhead. A stray thought reminded me that my orange and red kayak might look like a fish from their altitude. So I called out to them, "I'm not a salmon." They seemed to know.
I know what it is to be retired. A few miles from here, we will see some small islands dotted across my girth. Your kind dropped those islands here to slow my flow. Apparently, I was too efficient in getting the logs downriver, and there were numerous log jams. At first, I fought the intruder islands. Your kind didn't create me. What gave them the right to try to change me? But then I learned to relax and enjoy the slower pace of life. Many of the islands even have trees growing on them now. Then they built a dam across me, which really slowed me down and reduced my usefulness for transportation. So now I am retired, but I still continue to flow, slower and wider, but maintaining my purpose.
As I floated through the silent solitude, I realized that I could learn much from the river. I too am slower and wider than in my younger years, but I still have purpose to accomplish before I can earn my own quiet rest.
End of play.
Reborn on the River by Tom Anderson. Characters: Sissy, hairstylist.
Brooke, customer.
Scene: Saturday a.m. at a haircutting salon. Sissy is styling Brooke's hair. How's your summer going, Brooke?
Wonderful. I've been spending a lot of time kayaking on the St. Croix. We are so lucky to have it nearby. It's so quiet, so peaceful, so beautiful. You know, Sissy, it's like church. When I go down there, it settles my spirit like nothing else.
You've been reborn, haven't you, Brooke?
What do you mean, Sissy?
Your enthusiasm is proof that you have been reborn. You know, honey, saved,
Saved? Saved from what?
From hell. Unless you've accepted that Jesus Christ is your Savior, your path to hell is a given.
So, you mean that Buddha is in hell?
Yes, he is.
And I suppose that Gandhi is down there too.
Yes. Sad, isn't it?
Gosh, does that mean that Black Elk or the Muhammad are in hell? And the sweet, smiling Dalai Lama? He is doomed to hell as well, I suppose.
Yes, Brooke. Unless they embrace Christ as their Savior, they will reside in hell.
Gee, well, if that's where all the cool people are, that's where I want to go.
End of play.
St. Croix Paddling Project by Sue Renaud.
Characters.
Mom.
Dad.
Travis.
Terry.
Uncle Jack.
Nick.
TJ.
Are you sure we're up to this? This is the St. Croix River, not some shallow little lake like we've paddled around before. No fishing poles, no sunnies will be caught. And I'm not exactly a prime physical specimen.
It's all downriver. Families do it all the time. There's nothing to worry about. It's supposed to take 2 or 3 hours. What could go wrong?
A whole lot could go wrong.
What did you say, Trav?
Nothing.
I can't get my life jacket snapped.
Oh, come on. You're 9 years old. You should be able to put on your own life jacket.
Uncle Jack gives Travis a look.
Lay off your little sister, Trav. This is a great idea. I'm pumped. Interstate Park is beautiful. You don't see scenery like this every day. And seeing the river slowly from canoes will give us a whole different perspective. The canoe rental people really helped us out. I like these small, lightweight canoes. I can carry one fine by myself. Or TJ should be able to lift one in. It's not heavy. It'd be a breeze for you two big boys. The bigger canoe has nice seats for you older people and seems really stable. And you have Terry to help you. It'll be great for Nick and Travis to be on their own, but with all of us along just in case.
Dad, I'm 13. I can paddle a canoe. I'm not a kid.
Come on, Nick. Lift your end of the canoe or we'll never even get started. That's better.
They carry their canoe down to the river and set it in the water.
Osceola, here we come.
Hold this canoe steady so I can get in. I'm not as graceful as I used to be.
This is it. We're off. How you doing over there, TJ?
I'm good, as long as I'm with my dad. He says I may be small, but I'm tough and wiry. I'm gonna paddle real hard.
Hey, Jack, that's a good kid you've got there. My favorite little nephew.
What about me?
You're my favorite big nephew.
Oh, okay. I bet Travis and me can get to the shuttle spot first.
Pride goeth before a fall, cuz. Let's see how it goes before we start bragging.
Oh, you might not be quite as old as me, but look at your muscles. We got this.
This is not a race. Let's enjoy the scenery and the togetherness. And I brought snacks.
We're not ready for snacks. We barely started. It seems like we're not making much progress.
The wind seems to have picked up a bit.
More than a bit. It's really windy.
All the more reason for you to actually paddle.
What do you mean? I am paddling.
Well, you look like you're paddling, but you're turning your paddle against the side to make less resistance in the water. We won't get anywhere that way.
I guess you're right. I was kind of saving my strength. I'll paddle harder.
Keep an eye out for that big rock in the middle of the river. You'll have to paddle harder to get around it.
Uh-oh, it's too late. We're gonna hit it. Nick, come on, man. Push against the rock.
I am pushing. It won't budge. We're stuck.
The canoe is sideways against the rock.
Current is pushing us up against the rock, but we can't stay stuck here forever, so we have to work at it. I'll paddle really hard to get the canoe to move forward, and you push away from the rock with both hands, but don't lean too far over the side. I said not to lean. Here we go.
The canoe tips and the boys fall in the water.
Boys, are you okay? I've got your canoe. Swim over here and I'll help you get the water out of it and you climb back in. The current is so strong along the side here.
Oh no, those are brand new.
Uncle Jack turns to Dad.
Can you hold my canoe? I'll see if I can find them.
Give it a try, bro, but the river's probably carried them downstream already.
I know, but I have to at least try. Nick can't see much without his glasses, and his mom will be pretty upset if he comes home without them. We just picked them up from the optometrist last week.
Jack dives under the water a couple of times.
It's no use. Those glasses are gone.
We'd better get paddling. I don't think we've made much progress. We have to get to that pickup spot in a reasonable amount of time.
Dad, I'm getting tired. Nick's not really helping.
I'm doing the best I can. I can't see.
You may be big, but you're a wimp.
Travis, cut it out. Arguing won't help us get there. Apologize to your cousin.
Sorry.
It's really windy. Feels like we're paddling upstream against the current.
Well, at least it's good exercise.
That's my sweetie, always looking for the bright side. And Terry still looks cheerful.
I like to look at the rocks and the water and the birds and watch the boys fight. This is fun.
That's the spirit. Now everybody paddle.
Everyone paddles.
It's been at least an hour since the mishap. We should be getting there soon.
I hope so. I don't know how much more of this I can take.
We need some snacks. I bought string cheese, beef sticks, root beer, and chocolate chip cookies.
I don't need other stuff. Just give me the cookies.
Look, up ahead. I think it's a bridge.
You're right, TJ. We're almost there.
What a relief. My arm feels like they're about to fall off.
Hey, I'm holding my own back here. I think I've matched your stroke for stroke.
Sorry, honey. I wasn't belittling your contribution. I'm sure we're all tired. By my watch, our 2-hour trip has taken almost 4 hours.
Ooh, I'm sunburned. Look at my arms.
I should have given you more sunscreen after you fell in the river.
Oh, well. All's well that ends well. We've learned some new skills and built up our strength. And we know that next time we go canoeing, we shouldn't go unless the wind is at our backs.
I don't think I want there to be a next time.
Cheer up, son. Next time, you and I can be a team.
End of play.
Beaver and Heron by Josh Weisenberger.
Characters.
Beaver. A beaver.
Heron. A heron.
Beaver busies themselves with constructing their dam. After a few seconds, Heron sweeps in from stage left and perches nearby.
Hello, Beaver. What are you doing today?
Hi, Heron. Nice to see you. I'm just chewing through this tree trunk. What my home needs is one more good-sized stick to finish the entrance.
Wow. Now that looks pretty impressive. Do you do this every year?
Yeah, I do. Hey, don't touch that. That's a load-bearing wall, and you're too heavy.
Just curious, sorry. If I may ask, is really how you live your life? I get that you can't fly, but is it really your life's work to amass these lumps of sticks and squat here on this corner of the St. Croix River forever?
Yeah, like my parents and their parents and their parents and their parents. It's what beavers do, you know?
Geez, how long have beaver been living here? I didn't know.
Oh, that's okay. We've been here since before the fur trade of the 17th century. There used to be a lot more of us, but my great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandparents made it through, and eventually I got here. So every time I build my little beaver house on the St. Croix, I think of where my ancestors came from. It's reassuring.
Wow. All that from your little house of sticks.
It may be hard for you to understand, but yes, this little half underwater home is my pride and joy, and it has been for beavers for centuries.
Damn.
End of play.
Untitled Piece by N.J. Hungate.
Characters.
Hopefully soon to be a fiance. When she told me that the St. Croix area was her home, my dumb butt thought she was from the Caribbean. I thought I was dating a sun-kissed, sand in her shoes, afternoon swinging in a hammock between two palm trees, laid-back island girl. The first Christmas I spent with her family, boy, was I in for a reality check. Froze my butt off, a foot of snow with winds that'll knock you flat on your behind and slide you down the icy streets. St. Croix island girl, my. Slowly, though, the St. Croix I wasn't expecting became the St. Croix I grew to love. It might not be the crystal clear, rippling ocean water, but the river became my own little patch of paradise. It was where we said our first I love yous and got completely drenched to the bone by a summer thunderstorm. We've spent many days exploring all the river has to offer, and it keeps on surprising us. And tomorrow, it'll be the place where I ask my not-so St. Croix island girl to be my very real wife. This life is what you make of it, with all its fortunes and misfortunes, moments of explosive joy and heart-wrenching pain. I may not be spending my life on a Caribbean beach with the sand between my toes and a frozen pina colada in my hand, but I am more than thrilled to spend it along the shores of the St. Croix River with someone I love, my, hopefully, soon-to-be fiance. Wish me luck.
Eponym by Jill Galbraith.
Characters.
Peter, 42, buoyant.
Aurora, 29, ambitious.
Bradford, 33, colorful.
Stephanie, 55, glorious.
The choir.
7 to 89.
Loud.
Setting. The bank of a river that rages between destiny and absurdity. Time. 1981. Peter and Aurora stand before the enormous magnitude of the St. Croix River. Aurora hands Peter an unmarked can, which he cracks open. Peter takes a sip. Fizzy, sparkling liquid lights up his insides.
Damn, that's extraordinary. Aurora, you've done it again.
All we need is a name.
A man, screaming into his cell phone, approaches from a few paces down the path.
St. Croix, the St. Croix River, not Crux, not Croix, Croix, like for crying out loud. Oh, yeah? How much do you want to bet?
He eyes a stunned Peter and Aurora.
Excuse me, ma'am, would you please say the name of this river into my cellular device?
The St. Croix River.
Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. Suck on that, boy.
Peter and Aurora watch him go.
Croix has a nice ring to it. Hey, what you drinking? Croix.
I don't know. I feel like we're missing something.
From off right, we hear the approaching din of the choir, warming up their vocals. Stephanie, the choir's fearless leader, draws them before the river.
All right, everyone. Today we find out if singing really is better by the river. On my mark. 1, 2.
On Stephanie's mark, the choir lets forth their chorus. Brandon returns, angrier than ever. He gesticulates wildly into his phone.
Croix! Croix!
Peter stares at Aurora. They stand together on the precipice of greatness.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
I think so.
On 3,
She nods.
1.
2.
Diet
Coke.
Coke.
Blackout.
River Soundings by Christine Johansson.
Characters.
He.
The park along the riverbank in St. Croix Falls, Wisconsin. A hearing aid-free couple sit on a park bench, conversing in a gently distracted manner that has faithfully served them through their nearly 50 years of marriage.
What a lovely spot. Not too hot, not too windy, just an altogether beautiful day.
Hey, you think we have to pay to sit here? I don't see any signs. Good grief, it's getting so you can't even occupy a park bench without somebody collecting a fee. I remember when we used to go to the state parks and for the whole summer, we'd buy a sticker for the car.
Snickers bar? How can you be hungry? We just finished lunch. All you ever think about is food. It's like I've always said, your best feature is your sweet tooth. Sweets, sweets, sweets.
Beets? Beets. I don't care what you plant in the garden. You know that. Just don't expect me to help you out there. If it's not my back, it's my hip. There's always pain somewhere. And then today I noticed I've got a loud ringing in my ears.
Singing through the years. Oh, yes. Our whole family had nice voices. I used to love going to our choir concerts in the church choir and the barbershop quartets. Ooh, never missed one. Lots of warm harmony.
Loan her more money. I should say not. We've been through this before. She's going to have to learn to stand on her own 2 feet. Yes, we're her parents and we love her, but we're not going to be around forever. Someday she's going to have to grow up.
You have to throw up? Oh, for gosh sakes. I knew you shouldn't have had that second piece of pie. Well, here, just take some deep breaths for a while and maybe it'll pass. Sit calmly and feel the breeze.
You think I'm ill at ease? No, I've always been able to talk to you about anything. Anything. Our marriage has been lucky for us that way. We get along, we communicate with each other, we see to eye about almost everything. That's what married couples do.
Cup of stew? I thought you were nauseous. Oh, you never run out of surprises. What would I do if you weren't around for me to worry about? If I couldn't wonder what you were thinking? If I couldn't look into your loving face?
Lovely place? You betcha. Yep, and on a day like today, with the sun sparkling like diamonds in the river, it's just about perfect.
End of play.
Big Blind by Ryan Stevens.
Characters.
Big Iron Clementine, grizzled western type.
Cassidy Blue, big city mobster.
Dorothy, dealer.
Aboard a riverboat at a table for a poker game. The table piled high with chips. Big Iron Clementine sits on one side in full Wild West regalia. On the other is Cassidy Blue, done up in pinstripes with a trilby hat by her drink on the table. Between them is their dealer, Dorothy.
You're betting an awful lot there, Big Iron Clementine. All these years I've known you, I never thought you to be stupid.
Oh, you've never known me one way or the other, Cassidy Blue, and you won't start now. I call.
Cassidy tosses more chips in the pile.
Raise.
Raise.
Call.
They stare at each other intently. Dorothy turns to us.
I really wish I knew how to play poker, or even the rules. The only card game I really know is blackjack. 21 is good. Anything over, you're done. That's easy. Maybe it's just because I can't focus. I get distracted looking out off the boat, seeing the land we're passing. It's the same land every trip, but it's different days. But we keep pushing through and people keep playing cards. I assume one day it'll all be really different. Or someone will win really big and I'll figure it out. One day, it'll all click. But till then...
Both players show their hands. They are both full of nothing of worth.
Deal.
Deal.
Till then, we just keep on going, I guess.
Dorothy reshuffles the cards and deals. Blackout. Heraclitus and Eleanor Go Fishing by Jacqueline Salet.
Characters.
Heraclitus, an old man.
Eleanor, a young girl.
Setting. An old man and a young girl are standing on the banks of the St. Croix River on the Wisconsin side, overlooking the Dalles. The old man is Heraclitus the Obscure, a Greek philosopher born in Ephesus circa 500 BC. The young girl is Eleanor, born in 2008 in St. Croix Falls. She is holding a fishing pole.
Hey, why are you dressed like that?
I am Heraclitus, the Obscure. I am wearing the robes of a philosopher. In ancient Greece, all philosophers dressed like this.
Are you a philosopher, Mr. Heraclitus?
Yes, my child, and no need to call me Mr. I am just Heraclitus.
Well, nice to meet you. I'm just Eleanor.
What brings you to the river today, Eleanor?
I come to the river every day, except on Sunday. We go to church on Sunday.
You must like the river if you come every day.
I love the river. It's always moving, always changing. It's never the same. What about you? Do you love the river too?
I love wisdom, my child. That's what it means to be a philosopher. And the river is filled with wisdom.
It is? I thought it was filled with fish.
Walleye and bass, yes, but also wisdom.
What is wisdom?
Well, it's what you just said, that the river is always moving, always changing.
That's wisdom?
I hope so. I'm famous as a philosopher because I said, no man ever steps in the same river twice, for it's not the same river, and he's not the same man.
Really? No kidding.
No kidding.
Maybe I'll grow up to be a philosopher.
I think you already are one.
They both gaze at the river for a moment.
Hey, Heraclitus, wanna go catch some walleye?
Sounds like fun, Eleanor. Let's go.
End of play. Separating the Dogs by Jana Poole Fairbanks.
Characters.
Ben.
Sarah.
The shared apartment overlooking the river, early evening. Ben and Sarah, and the continuation of the same argument.
No, you can't even remember to feed them. They stay with me, and we certainly aren't separating them.
I always remember. You can't remember to buy them food, let alone remember to feed them.
I forgot like once and made it up to them by taking them to the park by the river, and they love it. I have always been closer to them. They like me more and feel more comfortable around me. Hanging out, like it's what we do.
I know, I get that, but you seem to have more time to do that because, let's see. Oh, yeah, you don't work much.
I work plenty. Well, okay. Well, I work some. Okay, enough. I work enough to get by, and that's what really is going on. You are mad because I don't work as much as you, and that's why you are really mad, because I am not making enough money to make you feel that I am worthy of this thing we are in, this shallow thing we have been working on, or whatever you call it. They stay together, and they stay with me.
Well, it would be great if you could use your time and at least try and make a little more money. It wouldn't hurt to be a little more interested in more money and a little less interested in Street Fighter 2 or whatever game you're playing all day long. They don't need a babysitter They will be fine alone for a few hours a day while you are out trying to earn more money, or at least attempting to try.
I don't think they care about how much money I make, or how much you make, or really anything that relates to money. They will stay with me, and you can find all the money you want, or all the right people with all the money you need, or whatever it takes to get that big bank account. Gotta say that I really never thought you would be so sad by the thought of not having a lot of money, that you would do this, but yet here we are, splitting the sheets and fighting over the dogs because you don't have enough. Bye, Sarah. See ya.
The door shuts and 4 small eyes look up at Ben, who is smiling, looking down at the ticket in his hand.
Come on, you guys. Let's go for a WALK down by the river and then head over to the bank. I have to deposit this winning ticket in our bank account. I will have your food delivered every day.
End of play.
Bask in Her Glory by William Quant.
Characters.
Tamara, female, age 20 and up, radiates confidence.
Anxiety Fairy, female, an absolute mess, age 20 and up. Raina, female, well put together, same actor as Anxiety Fairy.
A bedroom. A young woman, Tamara, sits in her bed and does the fingers on a screen dance that is texting, then throws it face down.
Now we play the waiting game.
Barging in the door haphazardly is a frazzled-looking woman in a tutu.
Hey, it's your girl, the Anxiety Fairy.
Tamara refuses to even look at the fairy.
We've gone over this. I don't need you.
The fairy blares an air horn.
I don't need. I'm Anxiety, girl.
There is no anxiety here. I asked her out. We've been friends for a year. Raina says no. No big deal.
You believe that? You really, really believe that?
I mean, yeah, this one's different. I done said.
The fairy seems to flip a switch and just tops her erratic behavior.
You? Oh, you're serious?
Trying to be. I mean, you and me have done this dance enough times that maybe I actually learned.
Yeah, no, I can see that. You're all cool and still nerved. Damn, I'm jealous. All glorious and confident.
Thanks for stopping by.
Right. Guess I'm about to head out.
She sulks towards the door. The phone buzzes. Tamara's eyes go wide. The fairy does an about face. Tamara reads her phone.
Sure. Drinks at St. Croix. St. Croix, ain't that nasty water some girls drink?
No, it's that bar downtown.
She says yes, and wants to go somewhere new.
Anxiety Fairy scoots closer and closer to Tamara, who is trying her best to cover her rosy cheeks.
You can leave now.
Nah, I'm invested now.
Tamara quickly texts back, throws the phone down, and finally rises. She does some breathing exercises, little shadow boxing, maybe a yoga pose or two, but we can't tell. Through every attempt of tranquility, she's smiling. As she does, the Anxiety Fairy exits. When Tamara is finished, her bedroom door opens, and in walks Raina.
You good?
Yeah, I'm real good.
The two smile, and Raina grabs Tamara's hand as they leave together. End of play. The Insurance Policy by Greg Marston.
Characters.
Driver.
Hitcher.
The scene begins at the Interstate 35W on-ramp in Minneapolis, with the driver of a vintage convertible waiting at a metered traffic light. A man, the hitcher, stands beside the road, holding his thumb up to hitchhike when the driver idles past him, waiting for his turn at the light.
Hop in.
The hitcher opens the door and sits.
Hey, thanks, man. Nice car. 65 or 66, right? Pony package even. Nice. Oh, 4-speed, huh?
Yeah, 65. I got it last fall. Pretty fun with the 289. Goes like stink. Hang on.
He races the engine slightly just as the light turns green, dropping the clutch and spinning the tires for a moment as they pull onto the highway.
I like it. I wish I had one.
Where are you headed?
By downtown or wherever you're headed before that. This thing moves.
I'm going to Wisconsin, just past the river. St. Croix Falls area.
I'll let you know where to drop me off.
Okay. Hey, you want to smoke?
The driver reaches into his pocket and presents the open pack.
Sure, thanks. Yeah. Do I have to smoke it right now?
No, you can save it, sure. I'm not, the cigarette police.
Smoke cops. Yeah, cool.
I figured I'd offer you a cigarette. Maybe you wouldn't carjack and kidnap me or something bad.
Yeah. Not a bad idea on your part. Kind of an insurance policy, huh?
Sure. So, what do you do for your living?
Looking for a job. I just got out of prison a few weeks ago. Stillwater, 14 years. Pretty sure I could smell that fancy river you're headed to. Never really got to see it. But I'm still sort of new at being outside. Smells different now.
Yeah, so, prison. Prison, wow. What were you, in for?
Manslaughter. But as a domestic, I would call it more of a misunderstanding, really. I like to say 1 or 2 bad decisions too many. Maybe 5. But working it out, trying to smoke less even.
The hitcher holds up the cigarette and puts it in his inside pocket, making an affirming clicking noise with his cheek and tongue.
Well, wow. I hope it wasn't for murdering your chauffeur. Right?
Unflinching, the hitcher looks out the window to the right and giggles lightly.
No, that's funny. My chauffeur, nah, nothing like that. It was first-degree manslaughter, and it did involve a truck or 2, I guess. But after I caught him with my wife and all, well, after that, it was him or me. After I caught them both, it wasn't like we could just look the other way or anything.
Wow, that's too bad. I'm sorry. Dude. Really?
Yeah. And when I saw him coming my way in his truck, that ugly old truck, and with her in the middle even, right next to him, all cuddled up, after I'd already caught him once, well, I didn't have a choice. Head on, all right. After all, I had a seatbelt and they didn't.
But wait, what?
Yeah, I'm still a little messed up from the crash and all, but I had to. I caught him, in bed even. So, anyways, but I do miss her sometimes. So what do you do for a living? You got a wife, married, young'uns?
What? No. Yeah, no, yeah, I was married once. And I work, it's hard to describe.
Oh, sure. Well, hey, you can just let me off on Lake Street. I can walk from there.
Lake Street, sure. Good, Lake Street, sure thing, right here.
He takes the exit, and the hitcher points to a spot to pull over.
Thanks for the ride, man, really. Oh, hey, and thanks for the smoke, and for letting me smoke it later. Oh, and just so you know, because of that, I'm not going to kill you and take your sweet Mustang. Yeah, that insurance policy. Totally worth it. Later, man.
The hitcher exits and starts to walk away. Stunned, the driver starts to pull away but kills the Mustang, mumbling through gritted teeth.
Oh, no.
The hitcher stops, turns around and smiles, pulling the cigarette from his inside pocket and lighting it as he walks away, mumbling to himself.
I can't drive a stick anyway.
After a few tries, the car roars to life and the driver burns rubber, pulling away. End of play. Tomorrow I'll Make Us Eggs and Everything Will Be Fine by Madeline Marr.
Characters:
D.
A hot summer night. No wind. The air is thick and humid, and even the crickets are too hot to chirp. If you stand outside, you can't quite hear the river, but the air smells like summer and water and wet leaves. Inside, a dark bedroom. The only light comes from an opaque yellow porch light. The soft glow outlines two figures, D and E, asleep in bed, facing away from each other. D sleeps with their foot hanging over the edge, outside the suffocating heat of the blankets, while E only has their feet tucked in. E's phone lights up and illuminates the room. D stirs. E's phone darkens. D wakes up, blinking. They check the time. Late. D turns over and spoons E. A moment of warmth and safety.
Too hot.
A moment. D releases E and turns back over. D stares at the wall and lies perfectly still, as if their moving would break something. Eventually, their eyes grow heavy and they fall back asleep. E's phone lights up, then darkens. The two continue facing away from one another. D now completely covered by the blanket and E sleeping peacefully without. Somewhere, a river is rushing forward, but it's too far away to be heard. End of play.
Farsighted by Jeff Weber.
Characters.
Mother Marta.
Daughter Angie.
Oceans, seas, lakes. For me, it's all about the river. Traveling onward, taking in all flowing waters, wonders, and worries.
Good morning. Are you up?
Yes, Mother, I am now, thanks to you.
Rise and shine. At least we miss our glorious sunrise.
How wonderful, my face baked with the taste of salt through parched lips.
Remember your straw brim hat and sunglasses.
Christ, yes, Mother. Wouldn't want to stare too long and go blind.
Are you coming? Lift your hat. I can't see your beautiful eyes.
I see you smiling, as certain as I am not. I hate my life, wishing daily for its final end.
Where should we go for lunch? Maybe that new organic restaurant?
Not really hungry, just want to be home and left alone.
Nonsense. It's too dark in here. The sun will brighten you up.
Too dark in here. Good one, Mom.
Things could always be worse. Be blessed for what you've been given.
Worse? Listen to yourself. Are you joking or just plain ignorant?
With my heart lifted each morning, I now see with greater clarity. High above the majestic St. Croix River, you will find me waiting patiently with my old brim hat, sunglasses, and sturdy white cane. Smiling, I whisper,
Will the sun rise to cleanse the water reflecting in my eyes, my mother's face?
End of play. 16A and 16B by Yvette Vietz Flayton.
Characters.
Wife, wearing a blue floral shirt, sitting in a window seat.
Husband, wearing a green floral shirt, sitting in middle seat.
Businessman, gray suit, aisle seat, reading a newspaper.
Pilot, voice over intercom.
Setting, aboard an airplane, in flight. Time, tomorrow.
Can you see anything yet?
Oh, we must still be above the clouds.
Oh, but it feels like we're already coming down. You got to be able to see the water by now.
He cranes his neck to see out the wife's window, cranes his neck toward the opposite side's windows, bobbing his head up and down.
I'm looking, there's nothing.
The businessman is folding his newspaper, resigned.
Where are you two headed?
St. Croix.
St. Croix. We can't wait to see the water.
Oh, St. Croix. It's lovely this time of year. Really beautiful. The water is so pure and clean. Great place for a getaway.
The husband and wife nudge each other, mugging in triumph at their holiday decision.
I can't wait to dive in. Hope you packed my goggles, honey.
Well, it's a little chilly for swimming right now, but the bike trails are open and the leaves are at their peak.
Huh?
Huh?
The businessman looks at their blank faces, one to the other.
You're going to St. Croix, right? The river? The falls?
Ladies and gentlemen, as we begin our final approach to MSP, I welcome you to America's Playground, gateway to this country's best-kept secret, our premier scenic river, the St. Croix. Now, if you'll stow your table.
End of play.
A river, canoeing, and the story of a lasting love. Adapted by Sally Lundholm from a letter written to Carol Lundholm by Mark Lundholm, shortly before his passing.
There's a river that runs swift and clear, which holds a host of special memories for two that have loved for almost 60 years. Many days of paddling and drifting have gone by in this precious love affair. The sandbars watched picnics, swimming, and laying in the sun. The birds and fish heard hours of dreaming and planning. The backwaters gathered memories of adventures and exploration of the river and of each other. There was a wedding and a honeymoon. There was an aluminum canoe and an old canvas tent. The river felt the excitement of starting something new. It gave them a song as they dipped their paddles and begun to surge forward.
Our paddles keen and bright.
Then there was a little dotted sun suit decorating the bow. Little fingers tickled the river. Soon another little blonde head flashed as the river sped them along.
Flashing like silver.
The shores slid by like the years. Ripples from a drifting canoe brushed the sand with a musical tinkle, while the one in the stern appreciated the beauty of the one in the bow.
Swift as a wild goose flight.
The river welcomed two new canoes. The three crafts drifted as the paddles fell into a new rhythm, and again little fingers tickled the river. The birds and fish heard hours of laughing and remembering.
Dip, dip, and swing.
The summer breeze warmed the adventurers as they explored the backwaters and found new paths. The sandbars watched picnics, swimming, laying in the sun. The canoe came together and shifted apart as they sometimes accelerated and sometimes drifted.
Dip, dip, and swing them back.
The two reached for each other and held hands, their hair reflecting off the water.
Flashing like silver.
The time came when the one in the stern could no longer paddle.
Follow the wild goose track.
But the love of the river continues to flow and find new paths in the depths of love.
Dip, dip, and swing.
Camp Story by Madison Fairbanks.
Characters.
Lydia, 20s, camp counselor, passionate.
The campers. The audience.
Plunder, river monster, eternal, bashful.
Setting. A campsite complete with tent and bonfire on the St. Croix River. Present day, bedtime.
All right, campers, let's simmer down now. I got one last story to tell you. You all have a s'more? Hot cocoa, hot cider, I don't know, sandwich or something, bug spray. Mosquitoes can get pretty bad out here near the river, you know. Just make sure you use the bathroom. Now, please. Thank you. Hurry up though, okay? Okay, let's dive in. How many of you have ever heard of the Loch Ness Monster, aka Nessie? Lives in Scotland, big thing in the water, yeah. Okay, so Nessie's got to have a family, right? Probably didn't take it into consideration, that's fine. But there is a family. a big, tall family tree of water monsters that span across all bodies of water, all across the globe since the beginning of all time, which means anybody? One of those members is in the St. Croix River. Oh, yeah, like right in there. Clunder. That's what they're called. And they're big. So big, they just blend in plain sight. The thing is, like a lot of water creatures, they grow to the size of their home. Goldfish! You usually see them in small tanks, so they're pretty small. But have you ever seen one outside? In a pond? In the wild? A foot long! Easy! Called indeterminate growers. They grow until the end of their life. Dead serious Scout's honor. Fortunately, humans don't do that. Ugh, can you imagine? Pushing 80 and still growing? No, thanks. Anyway, and their body, the shape? Old Nessie and Clunder are apples and orange sherbet. Family doesn't always look the same, you know? There could be quite a wide variety in shapes, sizes, shades, etc. So this particular river drifter, Clunder, has a start, a head, just like you and me. Then branches down and out, and down and out, and so on and so forth in different directions, like thousands of snakes hanging on to other snakes. You know what a nervous system looks like? Kind of like that, but not formed into a human body. Layered and weaving and intertwined. So in the river, the body blends with the currents. It matches the wave patterns to the unsuspecting eye. They look just like the water. They're blue and black and brown and gray and striated and speckled with color-changing cells, chromatophores, like an octopus. They don't want to be seen. None of them do. People, humans, aren't exactly nice when they think they've found a new thing. Even less so when that thing is alive. Anyway, you're probably thinking, if this Clunder creature doesn't want to be seen, how does she have any idea what they look like? Well, I just so happen to make Clunder's food. What he feeds on. Any guesses? I make music. I know, I see your faces, rolling your eyes, but just hear me out. If you sing with me, you'll see. Please? Do we know this land is your land? It's a classic. Just follow my lead. We won't do the whole thing, I promise. This land is your land, this land is my land, from the California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. Clunder's cousin lives there. This land was made for you and me. When the sun comes shining, then I was strolling, and the wheat fields waving, and the dust clouds rolling. A voice was chanting as a fog was lifting. This land was made for you and me. Shh. Hear that? Hey, Clue, you sound great, bud.
Thanks, Lydia. Always a treat.
Incoming s'more! Do not put food in the river.
She launches a s'more into the river, a satisfying plop. Sounds of waves lapping grow, then slow.
I think they liked it. All right, campers, off to bed. All aboard the Sleepy Time train to Night-Nightville.
As she climbs into the tent, we hear the river babbling. Finn.
Take Me to the River by Edward M. Morsfelder.
Characters.
The river, the St. Croix River.
Ed, an old fisherman.
Time, the present, mid-morning. Set, a fishing boat on the river.
Hey, Ed. Long time no see. Get it? No see.
Who's that? Who's talking?
Me, the St. Croix, the river. You haven't been here for a while. I've missed you. I've missed you fishing here with Peter. I've missed all those lures you gave me on tree limbs and rocks and power lines.
Oh, either I've been out of the sun too long, or I'm really losing it. With the river, it's talking to me.
I am.
Okay. Well, I've missed you too. I was supposed to be back at Festival Theater last year, but I messed that up. And I'm supposed to be there now, but COVID messed that up. I have missed all of that and the fishing. So I set up this Zoom fishing trip in my head, and this morning I tried it. I took my Zoom boat to the Zoom launch after a 3-day Zoom across country. It actually didn't take all that long. And for the love of Pete, it worked. As soon as I zoomed myself into the boat, I was here.
Well, welcome back. A couple of things. I've not seen this before, pretty weird story, but I have noticed that you haven't caught any fish. Try the 3-inch shad wrap, but don't use the usual colors, silver, orange. Try rainbow trout. Not many fish see them here, and they just get annoyed and want to eat them. Try it. Second thing, be really careful going back to Washington or wherever you came from. You've landed in a real river here. That's me. And your boat is real, and the fish are real, if you actually catch any. And the sound of the rapids just up there is real. So when you go back, be really careful. For your sake, I don't want you to have a river running through or over or out of your house. And for my sake, I don't want to end up shooting out into the Pacific Ocean. Not that it wouldn't be a hoot to have Chinook salmon running up my spine, but I'd miss the oak woods and the wood ducks in the Ojibwe Nation. But while you're here, drink this in. I'm talking figuratively here, you understand, and do plan to come back for real soon.
Thank you. Good advice. But I'm in no hurry to get back home. I was kind of hoping I'd see some of my old friends, like you, swimming or fishing or just sitting on the bank. So far, no luck. So I'll stay a bit longer, but I'll be gone by sundown. I hope you won't mind carrying me all that long. River? St. Croix, are you there? Am I talking to myself? Okay. Where'd I put that rainbow trout shad wrap?
End of play.
Tired and dirty, packing up to go home on Monday afternoon was only made brighter by the prospect of a bottle of pop and a ride on the ferry when we got to Marine on St. Croix.
Only 50 miles from the city, and yet sitting around the campfire.
Looking at the stars, listening to the beavers. We might as well have been in the middle of the wilderness.
It's 3 days of heaven, 3 times a year.
Thank you, Dad, for the gift of the river and teaching us to love the out of doors.
Sometimes it seems as if the river is being loved to death, but it is protected now and has the title of National Scenic Riverway.
In my book, that's as good as Yellowstone or Glacier National Park.